So tell us about your journey until the day you launched your favorite. Until the day you launched your first product drop. What were you trying when you started with this?
Yeah. So Bad Unicorn, I guess the start of Bad Unicorn came from doing a couple different product drops, just using no code tools. So kind of early in my maker journey, I was coming up with a bunch of ideas, but I wasn't able to really implement any of them. I'm non-technical, so I'd create the business plans for them, but I wouldn't really be able to create anything that could, I guess, validate the idea. Eventually, I kind of stumbled upon Webflow and no code, and started like doing a weekly meeting with some people. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with KP, but he's pretty popular on Twitter. And so we started a mastermind where we met every Friday and just did the simple stand up where it's like, what'd you do last week and what do you plan on doing this upcoming week? And kind of just through that habit, we kind of pushed each other to just like keep on learning how to build very like small, simple products. Yeah. And so from there, just coming up with like random ideas and trying to build like small apps and websites. Yeah. And so I think that habit was pretty important. And then I've had a habit for a couple of years now where I write down 10 business ideas a day. And so I feel like those two things together have like helped just create a bunch of like different like random ideas.
Awesome. Picking from the fact that you just said that you write 10 business ideas in a day, what is your process of ideation? And also, interestingly, you discard all good ideas for.
Yeah.
So I want to know how good an idea has to be discarded by you.
Yeah. So I guess for that 10 ideas a day habit, anything that pops in my head, I'll write down, whether it's a physical product or a software product. And again, it doesn't have to be good. I mean, 10 out of 10 ideas most days are usually stupid ideas. And for Bad Unicorn, I try to create like bad, funny ideas. And so most of the time I'm writing down like just bad ideas. But yeah, as far as the process for Bad Unicorn and coming up with ideas, we've kind of created a decision matrix as far as like, what does a bad unicorn idea look like? And so I think this is probably helpful for any like maker or creator that like wants to build consistently build products. If there's one thing in mind, you want to build it, then go for that. But if you're kind of experimenting with a bunch of stuff, I would create like one of these like kind of trees where it's like, what are the things you want your product to be like? And so for ours, it's like, first off, is it a funny idea? We're dropping like funny, bad business ideas every other Friday. And that's kind of objective as far as like, we got to decide if it's funny. So that's a tough one. The next one, it's functional. So a user does X and gets Y result. It's timely. So there's something going on in the world, whether it's on Twitter or in tech, that's kind of like adding to this product. And then it's something we can build like with no code tools, unless we like partner with a developer. So like there's this matrix where we kind of like want to check off all these things, and sometimes we go outside of the realm of that model. But yeah, I think having like kind of what kind of ideas you want to come up with has always helped. Yeah.
That's a cool matrix to have. In terms of actually building the product, this is the ideation part of it, but in terms of actually building the product, you're doing that in less than 2 weeks, right? From idea to actually launching. So walk us through the process of how you're building it so quickly and launching it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so we have some weird sprints with Bad Unicorn where sometimes we'll have like the full 2 weeks to build it. And then sometimes like a couple days before we'll like pivot and we're like, oh no, we like this idea way more. And just impulse, we like switch ideas, and we have like 48 hours to build whatever the Friday drop is. So yeah, the sprints vary, and granted, most of the things we're building aren't that complicated. They're mostly like remixes of things that already exist. It's a dating app with like this small twist, or it's a meditation app with this small twist. And so the sprints kind of look like, once we have all of our ideas in a Trello board, and so kind of going through and just checking those on occasion and having conversations about ones that we like. From there, we kind of put it into this new category where it's like, these are things we want to develop at some point. And so kind of based on me and Ash, who's my co-founder at Badunicorn, we'll build out like an MVP on a landing page builder, whether that's Webflow or Card. And once we kind of see it on a website, we can have a better feel for how successful it'll be if we launch it. And so we have a bunch of landing pages that like, we looked at it and we're like, no, like this isn't, now that it's on like a website, it's not as like sticky as we thought the idea was. So we have some things like we haven't launched that are just sitting idle in our accounts. Then from there, we kind of just like think through what the stack needs to be. So again, we're non-technical, so we're hacking together different tools. So things like Card, Webflow, Zapier, Airtable, Typeform. And so kind of we've launched 20 products so far with Badunicorn. And so with most of our products, we try to like use a new tool so we can like integrate that into future product drops if we need it. So we've used a ton of different no code products. So I think we're like, our knowledge for like when we have an idea, we can kind of quickly say like, oh, we're going to use this tool, this tool, this tool, and this tool, and it should be able to work fine. So kind of having the no code like landscape, if you're building a no code, that's helpful. Obviously, not very helpful if you're coding, but so we kind of like laid out as far as what needs to be built. Then depending on the week, like a lot of times Ash will build like the website and the products. Sometimes I will. But yeah, that's kind of the flow. And then from there, we launch it on our newsletter. And then we have 2-week break. So we do a week of product is the plan. So building the product, launch it on Friday, and then we do a week of distribution. So the next week is all about trying to post it on different platforms and get that individual product as much attention as we can.
So you've had a crazy learning curve in the last 1 year or so with especially being a non-tech person, having to learn so many no-code tools and experiment with it, maybe even pay for some just to see how it is. You've built, you've launched. Now, what would make a product launch successful for you, given that your product ideas are the opposite of what works?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess success looks like just if a lot of people are talking about it, if people are saying they enjoyed the product or thought it was funny. It kind of depends on the product. Like some products we build and there's no outcome that's like better or worse. It's just like, this is a funny landing page that we built and we're going to kind of show it to the world. Some products are like more, I don't know, like recurring. Like we have a product called Elon Stocks, which is like, I guess getting the most subscribers is our goal. And so figuring out different ways to do that. But but a lot of the times it's just like, we try to launch, whether it's on Product Hunt or on Twitter. And it's like, if we hear crickets, like it's totally fine. And that's something we've had that we've tried to keep like a mindset on when like even pre-Badunicorn, like KP would hunt me for Product Hunt and he'd be like, just know, like be happy. Even if you get 10 upvotes, like 10 upvotes is totally fine. And I've done that. Like I've launched multiple times on Product Hunt and heard crickets. So I think a lot of the times it's bad ideas. It takes a lot of the pressure off it because there's no like skin in the game as far as like, I need this to be successful. But it's still fun to launch and occasionally have some good launches.
Wow. 10 hunting, 10 hunts is good. Okay. So has there been any product that you regretted making?
Not regretted. We've had drops that like I look back on and I'm like, that's our worst. Like anything, you can look back and say like, this is like, we created this and this is my least favorite. But nothing that like, I don't know, nothing that I feel like will get me canceled or something, or like anything that's too dangerous or over the line. One thing we're kind of mixing startups and comedy is like, we had to figure out like what that line is, like where do we play in this, as far as like what kind of products we build. Yeah, but yeah, no regrets, just like ones that I'm like less proud of, as far as like, oh, I wish we like did this small twist, or I wish we added this feature. It would have made it a lot more funny. Yeah.
Okay. While you also are a market researcher, so that background is, I think, helpful when you are planning and marketing the products that you're building. What would be the top 3 marketing skills that you would share for, especially for non-coders who are maybe designers or who are non-marketing folks, for them to work on, for them to have?
Yeah. So you're saying like marketing your product like posts like launching it, you're saying?
Yes. So basically building the launch. How do you build towards the launch? For how long do you market it? Because usually no code is first used by folks who want to validate their idea. So how do you go about it? And what are the skills you think that, or even strategies rather, that if you know have these 3 marketing strategies, it would be helpful.
Yeah, I think I think like the way I look at it, and I don't know if I'm like an incredible marketer, but I think the way I look at it is just taking a bunch of different action. So whether that's like posting on like every like platform or every like kind of like thread that's well, and not in like a self-promotion way where like some people just spam, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like try to like jump in like a Reddit thread that's about your product or vertical, and add something, and then maybe at the end like a line about like self-promotion, or even like asking for feedback, things like that. I think, but anyways, I think for our strategy, it's like we have a distribution list for each one of our product drops, and that next week we try to hit every one of them. And kind of beyond that, I guess another technique we do for product drops is another one of those like kind of like, does the idea have a big personality that we can attach the idea to? So like, for example, Anthony Pompliano tweeted, there should be a university for memes. And then the next week we built something called Meme University. And so like he was like attached to that. And so when we launched, we tweeted like, hey, like Pomp, we made this product. And so we try to do that with every product, where we have like someone who's like either in the space or parodying their product. And just so like, it's another like distribution method that if you can find someone who has a big audience and you build a product that's kind of relevant to them, you might be able to, for lack of a better term, like leech off their audience, like if they engage in the post. Yeah, and then product hunt wise, I don't know. We spend like, we've gotten like, I mean, we've launched maybe 12 to 15 times, like as a together and separately, me and Ash. So product hunt we've kind of gotten down. Sometimes we do a 12:01 launch, and sometimes we do a noon launch. And we've learned a ton of stuff about kind of the product hunt algorithm. It's not as like, I don't know, it's not as like straightforward as you think. I think there's a lot of human intervention that goes on there. So, I mean, the main thing we've learned is like just the importance of hours on this, like hours your product is live on the site, or sorry, total upvotes over hours your product is live on the site. So Yeah, other than that, it's kind of personal preference on how you launch on Product Hunt, but we basically just create the assets, throw them on Product Hunt, don't think too much about them, maybe do some iterations on the copy, and then launch on Product Hunt and kind of tweet on Twitter. So pretty basic Product Hunt strategy.
You mentioned copy in what you've built. All of the products, all 18 of your products, and the landing page that you have, with the different sections of the page where you've mentioned about pricing, you've mentioned about what all someone gets when they sign up for your newsletter. It's a very it sets your product apart. It definitely does. So how did you build your personal brand, the funny brand, for Bad Unicorn?
Yeah, so I think it was finding my style of product I like building. So like I said, I launched 2 or 3 products before I launched Random Pizza, and they were kind of like more SaaS style. Like when I first got into this, I was like super into SaaS. I was like, I want to do SaaS. And then I tried some products and again, like didn't do well. And maybe it's just because it was early in my making, but regardless, I eventually stumbled upon this idea where it's like, what if I built an idea where someone could sign up for a subscription and at a random time during the month, they just received like two pizzas. And so that was the idea. I called it Random Pizza. I built the product in Webflow, in Typeform, and anyways, like through that side, I like did a bunch of like self-deprecating copy. So it was like a bunch of copy saying like, this is such a stupid product. Like, why would I buy this? And people like, it kind of like worked for people. Like people were like, oh, I liked this product was kind of making fun of itself inside the landing page. And so I think from there, I kind of realized like, this is the style I want to build now. I want to build like funny products. Maybe they're not the most successful ideas that's ever going to exist, but some people will say they're dumb. Some people might say this is genius. Like I heard both for Random Pizza. And so I like this gray area of like bad ideas, like, I don't know, kind of close to good ideas in some ways. I guess that's how a lot of like really, really good ideas start. Was there like a stupid idea? For example, this Snapchat, the Snapchat example where it's like a photo deletes in 10 seconds forever. Kind of sounds like a dumb, but obviously huge now. But yeah, so I guess that copywriting was just from kind of figuring out what kind of products I like to build and then trying to write like a human or write like how I talk.
Awesome. You mentioned that funny is your brand now. How important do you think humor is in terms of copy, especially since we're living in the ages of memes now? Not just for your product, but in general, if you have to take a shot at it.
I think for most products it works. Obviously, there's probably going to be some verticals that like aren't accepting meme culture into their I don't know, for like their customers, but I think for even if it's like kind of a serious SaaS, like everyone enjoys like lighthearted humor. And I think using like self-deprecation in some like I was saying for Random Pizza, like sometimes works. I guess it's kind of product dependent, but yeah, I think I guess it's like a balance of, I don't know if we'll see more like memes, like memes on landing pages. Maybe we will, but I haven't seen as many recently. But yeah, I think anytime you can inject humor, it's helpful. Even there's a company called FOMO.com, and their copy was just like just super like simple and like punchy, and I think that's like a big inspiration for some of my websites. Is just trying to like, I don't know, if it's an FAQ page, like make it so people remember what the FAQs were. Like,
Right.
I think making elements even if it doesn't even have to be funny, as long as it's different. So I think a lot of the times it's like whatever pricing page is, I think the structure should be the same, so people can, like, their mental models can understand, like, okay, this is a pricing page. Here's 2 or 3 blocks. I get this, but there should be something different about it that makes I don't know, it makes people think one more like level.
Makes sense. These days, people are sending memes with resumes as well. So, I recently came
Yeah.
across a tweet where the last page of the deck was actually a meme. So, it's
Oh, wow.
working, I believe. Uh,
Yeah.
in terms of copy, have you ever used a GPT-3 platform like copy.ai, or do you sit and like think about it and write everything on your own? Or do you use some of these tools for copy?
Yeah. I use so I think the process for Copy AI is it comes up with like really good stuff. Like even it words things better than I do a lot of times. Um, so I think sometimes I'll create what I want to say, especially in like paragraph form where they can break it down more. So like I'll be like, this is what I want to say. I'll put it in Copy AI, and then it'll give me a bunch of options, and I'll just click refresh, 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 until I find one that's like, oh, this is actually like worded better than what I wanted. But then I'll kind of like revise it. Very few times will I just like copy that and use that. I'll try to add like my own twist. So it's kind of human AI back to human. And I think that's helpful. It's not as good with comedy. It's more like straightforward copy where it's like one-liners or like product descriptions or um, terms of service or something. But with like creative copy, I think there's still some like work to be done. And I don't know if maybe it will never be there because our humor just like always is evolving. But yeah, I do use Copy AI for a lot of things, and I think it's really helpful. Yeah, when you're trying to move fast, where like I don't have time to like manicure a sentence for 30 minutes. I like have my sentence, I throw it in, I fix it up, and slap it on the site, and keep moving.
Makes sense.
So with your job, as well as with managing, running Badunicorn, how do you manage? Because you've been consistently rolling out the product drops. So what could be some key I don't know, insights or experience that you could share with learning how to handle it and juggling them both at the same time consistently?
I think, yeah, I think for like the time management thing where like, I mean, a lot of people ask us like how we're launching. It's just me and Ash building a new product every 2 weeks. And I think I would have never thought that like when I started my no code journey, like there's people like Peter Levels who did like 6 products in 6 months. And I was like, that's insane. Like that's not even possible. Luckily with no code, there's like so much templates and there's so much like ways you can just build something in like 30 minutes or an hour. And again, we're not building anything that's revolutionary as far as technology. But I think the important thing for like our time management is that we just started Badunicorn and we said, this is our constraint. Our constraint is that we're going to build a new product every 2 weeks and we're going to launch it to our newsletter. And so I think if that constraint wasn't there, we would have said, hey, we're going to be a product studio and we're going to ship a lot of products. And I think we'd have like, I don't know, 6 to 10 products launched, and we're approaching a year, and now we've launched 20. And I think it's all about setting that constraint and just having a bunch of like a lot of integrity to say like I'm not going to break this, or we're going to try not to break this. We've pushed back a week when we wanted to like build out a product more, but for the most part, we've tried to hit those deadlines, and even if the product's like, even if something we're not super proud of, come click send on the newsletter, it's still a product that's out there, and we still keep on hitting our weekly like goals. Yeah, and that's not a very good answer as far as how we do it. It's more like just how we set up the system. But I actually do just think the constraint of like, if you have to get it done, like you will get it done, even if it's not perfect. So I don't know. I think that constraint is pretty important, and I'm not very good at time management. So it's weird that we're getting these products out, but it's just that like, we've just told ourselves, it's like, we will ship a product every other Friday. Yeah.
So does that disrupt or has it ended up disrupting your work-life balance or your mental peace at times?
It's difficult sometimes, but most of the nice thing about Bad Unicorn is no matter what we're building, it's like something funny, and it's something that we thought of within the last week. So like, everything's new. When we're building something, it's like we're literally building the website, and like new ideas are popping in our head for the idea as we're doing it. And so, yeah, I'm drawn to like the new, even when we like ship a product, I'm like always on to the next one, which is another reason why I think Bad Unicorn, like the reason we set up Bad Unicorn like that, is because we're just constantly coming with ideas and want to build something new. But yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yes, yeah, I guess at some points it's difficult as far as like some social stuff, but I think Ash and I, like, we balance it pretty well.
Wonderful. You've begun with the goal of launching 21 products in 2021. How do you keep yourself motivated to keep going? You've set constraints, you want to do them, but then there's a step after that, which is you need to do it. Did you ever think that, okay, I think the 20 that we've launched, I mean, it's enough. I think let's just take a break, or let's just call it, because it's hit good numbers. We've gotten a good distributed network. We've made good contacts. Let's just drop it.
Yeah, I guess it's like the vision for Bad Unicorn has like grown in my mind, where, and it sounds silly, like when I tell people I want Bad Unicorn to be like a really big thing, and like the premise of Bad Unicorn is just build bad ideas. But in my mind, like I see Bad Unicorn as being something like super, super big. So I think I just like haven't hit that like super, super big point. And so I'm just going to keep on building products until hopefully that comes true. But yeah. And so I think that there's obviously like growing pains as far as like these constraints we've set for ourselves. But at this point, Ash and I have figured out like good systems, and I think we've even gotten better at planning this product next week, this product the following week, this product the job after that. But yeah, I guess that motivation just comes from like, I want Bad Unicorn to be like a name that like people know, and when they think of bad startup ideas, like I want them to think of Bad Unicorn.
Awesome. You've mentioned no code a lot of times now. I want to know, if you had to pick top 3 no code tools that everyone should know how to use to be able to build a product, what would they be?
Yeah, so we've created something that's like our master stack. So this is like just terminology we use, where it's like, this is what we could use for like all of our products and work. And it's Card, like Airtable, and Zapier. And so like those three, you can do a ton of stuff with. Like you can build a lot of like functional apps. I build in Webflow a lot, so that's my preferred method, but it's a lot more expensive. There's ways to offload the site. So like you have to buy a premium plan, buy a premium website plan. So it's like around probably $30 for that first month. And there's a way to export the code and like host it on this like free server. We take a lot of, in Bad Unicorn, since we're like bootstraps, we use a lot of free services, a lot of free versions of sites. We try to figure out how to squeeze different plans as far as like what we do with them. So yeah, I guess the main ones, I mean, the main builders are like, I think Card's the easiest to use, then Webflow, and then Bubble is the strongest as far as like apps you can build. But yeah, then other than that, Airtable, Zapier. Yeah, I think those are the main ones to use.
That's a good tech stack to have. We're also building on Webflow right now, creators of products,
Cool. Nice.
and we've actually built one in the past during COVID times to help people with mental peace and all. That was also on Webflow actually. So no code is actually quite helpful in those terms. If you had to pick three folks that everyone should follow to be able to learn no code, because there is a learning curve. People will say that, hey, no code is easy and everything, but maybe not as hard as coding, but there's still quite a learning curve. So who would you say that people should follow? Top three names.
Yeah, I think so. KP is one who I mentioned before, and this is KP on Twitter. I think he runs the On Deck no code cohort, and he's big on like build in public too. So you'll get a mix of build in public, and then no code Twitter. So I think he's great. I think there's a guy named Mackenzie Childs, and he's big on Webflow, and he's a really good designer. I learned a lot from just following him and seeing some of his tweets. Then other than that, there's another guy named Tom Osman, who's I think at Tom Osman on Twitter, and yeah, he just does interesting. He has like a community, but also he does like a lot of interesting things with no code and goes down some cool rabbit holes. Yeah, those would be my three.
All right. I have one more question before I open the floor to all the Q&A. If you had to suggest one guest that we should get after you, who would that be?
So I guess so KP would be one. I want to keep on using KP.
Yeah,
KP is really great.
Build it up.
Yeah, you set me up for that. KP is really great. Another guy named Drew Riley. He's awesome. He's the founder of Trends.vc. And he's just super good at just like kind of peeking around corners and going down like rabbit holes of research for new markets. So he's just fascinating because you'll like talk to him about a topic and he'll just know everything about it already. Yeah, so I guess those two will be my people.
Awesome. All right then. I think we'll open the Q&A section because there are a lot of questions already. We'll start from the top. Abhimanyu, if you're in the chat, if you're still here, please ask your question.
Hi, Whit. It was actually great, like learning. So the thing is actually, whenever I come up with ideas, they are pretty serious. They are about something, trying to solve a problem, making an impact. And when I see what you have built, it's something which is completely opposite. And I'm like, how do you come up with it, right? How do you come up with this? It's absolutely insane. It's crazy, and I am loving it. That's what I'd say.
Yeah.
So that's why I just. So you mentioned actually you have already, So it was absolutely loved your products.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I guess the thought process is just like, I don't know, just trying to like think of ideas that work and then putting like one spin on them. So like I was saying, like meditation, like it's cool. Like it's like lots of people are doing it. It's usually a pretty serious exercise where you're just with yourself. And I was like, what's a way to make that like weirder? Like, and so we were like, what if we just during your meditation, there was like a random like curse word or something that's, I don't think any meditation apps, I don't think Headspace or Calm are doing that. So I guess it's a mix of like, what are like really bad ideas where it's like, oh, functionally, this is an awful idea. And then what are ways to like make existing products just like a little, like a weird version of that product. Yeah. And I think some of that probably comes from like stuff I watch, like shows I watch or media I consume or people I follow on Twitter. And then they kind of spark inspiration on funny ideas. But yeah, I guess that's kind of where some of it comes from.
Great. Awesome. I'll try to come up with something too. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, next up, Manav. If you're still here, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Okay, looks like Manav's not here. He wants to know the story behind Bad Unicorn, the name of it. He thinks it's a very creative name, but how did you come across the name? What's the story behind it?
Yeah. So Bad Unicorn, it's funny. Some people like come up with like they come up with the idea, then they like think through like a list of like 1,000 names. Bad Unicorn was the absolute first thing I thought of when I was like after Random Pizza. So I built a funny pizza app that was like kind of stupid, and after that I was like, oh, I can only build this in like a couple days. Like, what if I did this every other week and created a product studio? And I was like, what should that be called? And I was like let's I want to act like these businesses are like unicorn businesses, so $1 billion businesses. And I was like Bad Unicorn, and I was like I'm just gonna do that. And then from there I went into Canva, I grabbed a PNG of a unicorn emoji, and then a PNG of sunglasses emoji, and I dragged that into Canva. And so I wrote out Bad Unicorn, I put in the 2 emojis, and I put the sunglasses over the unicorn, and that's like still our logo. That's on our website currently.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Did any of the PNGs that you dragged into Canva turn out to be fake PNGs?
Fake PNGs?
The ones with an actual background, but they show that they don't have a background.
Oh yeah. No, I guess I went to that. I use Emojipedia, and that's just where I get all of them from. But yeah, that's kind of the story for where Bad Unicorn got its start, and I guess how we have like a pretty, I would say, crappy version of like a logo that's still running.
If it works, it's not crappy. It works.
Yeah,
and people remember it. I think that's the goal with logo. People pay millions of dollars to get a fancy logo that makes no sense to people. And then there's you, who's slapped on 2 things from Emojipedia, and people remember it. So yeah, it's an amazing logo for your amazing product studio of building crappy ideas.
Yeah, exactly. It's on brand as far as like we build crappy ideas. Like, why not have a crappy logo too?
Makes sense. All right, moving on. Vivek, if you'd like to ask your questions, he has 2 questions. So, hey Vivek, could you unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hey man, how are you? Thank you for doing this. Lovely hearing you. I'm gonna discard the first question. I don't like it myself right now. I think it's too much.
Cool.
Let's just go with the first one. What's your
Awesome.
aha moment that you're like, oh fuck this. This is the thing I want to do. Also, second question, I would like to replace it with, are you bullish on Bitcoin?
What was that?
Are you bullish on Bitcoin?
Okay, I'm not sure what the second one is, but the first one, so aha moment for Bad Unicorn. I don't know. I guess it was like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't even know if I've had it yet. I guess I have, because like now I'm like fully dedicated to it, but I'm not sure that it's like
things that added up to this big thing.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But I haven't had the moment where it's like, oh, I know this is going to be like massive, but I do know this is something I want to work on for a long time. So I think the aha moment for I want to work on this for a really long time probably came after like our second or third drop, where it's like, I guess when I thought about it in theory, I was like, oh, maybe we could build products every 2 weeks, but I didn't know what that would look like in reality, when like I had to do the work, I had to launch products. I was like, am I going to get burnt out? Am I going to be tired of this? And maybe I will get burnt out eventually, but like right now, 20 products in, not burnt out, like excited for the next 3 drops that we have. So I guess it was probably, I don't know, it's probably like on the 3rd drop where we dropped something and we had a ton of engagement as far as like, hey, like people are interested in this. There's no individual like comment that I was like, oh, this is like, now I know. But probably around that time period where I was like, all right, we've done this for 6 weeks now, dropped a product every 2 weeks. it's doable at least, and
Mhm.
and some people get enjoyment out of it. So I think that's kind of maybe around the time where I was like, I really love this.
Got it. That's very courageous of you to like keep doing this, because like these kind of things, nobody's gonna do it for a long time. They're like, fuck this, I want a regular job. I want to get serious in life, get married, have kids, die. And but like this is
Yeah.
very courageous of you to keep pursuing this. Good stuff,
Yeah,
man. Keep
I
doing what you're
appreciate
doing.
it.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
I might
answering
end
my
up.
question.
Yeah, no problem. I might end up running myself into a wall just with bad ideas, but at least I'm having a little bit of fun in the process.
There's no bad ideas.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there are.
Awesome.
Okay.
Great. I think he was
Thank you.
asking about crypto because you recently tweeted about crypto, so that had to come. You tweeted
Gotcha,
about it. You
gotcha.
asked to share crypto related stuff.
And you
So
accept Bitcoin donations, so just curious.
so are you big on crypto?
I guess it's like a space. It's not, doesn't seem like it's going to be going away anytime soon. So trying to learn more about it. I have, I guess there's like, I have like some things that I guess yes. The answer is yes, because the only thing I have like investments in is in crypto. Like I don't have anything
All right.
in the stock market. So I guess my answer is flat out yes. And then even the community is so like bullish and vibrant that like we build products. So like not only are we trying to build like bad ideas, but it's like we try to build ideas for like people who are like super excited about a space. So for example, like we have a product called Coinbase, and it's Tinder for Bitcoin or for crypto people, and or like meditation, like people who are so gung ho on meditation. So we build like a meditation app like for their niche, and so yeah, crypto is like a place that I think we're gonna keep playing in as far as products we drop. We've had some that are like we've dropped and they're like duds because like the crypto community is like so. I know they're almost like it's a tough community to break into, and I'm not even sure if I've broken into it yet, even though I've built like 3 products that are like centered around crypto. But yeah, I enjoy the space. I think cool things are going on in it. NFTs are interesting. Just like even being like a small internet creator, it's fun to like play around with NFTs and see like what kind of how it works. Because I knew high level how it worked, but then we built a product, Hot Potato NFT, and we actually had to make transactions. So we tried to make the most transacted NFT in the world, and so we did that. So we like transacted it back and forth a bunch of times, and yeah, and so like just even doing that process was interesting.
Awesome. Just out of curiosity, Coinbase being actively used, you have an active daily users who actually come in and use Coinbase, because I found it extremely funny. That's, I think, one of my favorite products of yours.
Yeah.
So do you actually have people using it?
So we have a wait list. We want to build for that product. That was one of those ones where we pivoted late. And so we pivoted late and like, we're gonna do this idea now. Like we like really like this. And we built out like mainly the landing page and like a wait list. But didn't have time to build an app that we were proud of. We built a V1 with some no code tools, but we didn't want to ship something that wasn't going to be like the product part of it that wasn't going to be like up to what we wanted. And so we might do like a V2 of Coinbase where like there's like a real app that people can use. So yeah, be on the lookout. That might be our first. We haven't done any like 2.0 drops, so that could be one of our first ones that we try to iterate on.
Well, I'll be on the lookout for that. Moving on, Prateek is asking the next question. Prateek, if you could unmute yourself. No. Okay, looks like Prateek is not here. Okay, I'll just ask it. He wants to know what's your aim with building these products? Why are you doing this?
My aim. I guess it's I don't know. I guess it's like people enjoy them. Like I think bad ideas fascinate me, and like hopefully they fascinate like some other people, which is kind of why we're trying to grow this audience. So I guess it's not really about like the products. It's more about like the newsletter subscribers. So like we're trying to grow an audience on like an owned audience that we have on our email list, and then like a social presence a little bit. That's I guess not as like, I think our email list is like my most important thing that I think about is trying to get more email subscribers. And so I think Bad Unicorn can be a really cool business if we have like 100,000, 200,000 people subscribed. And so like that's like where I want to get the email list to. We're at like 7,000 total email subscribers. And so just figuring out ways to like double, triple that number over a couple months period of time. And so I think, yeah, I guess that's kind of like the why, where it's like bad ideas, like none of the individual bad ideas are going to amount to much, I don't think. But I think as a whole, like 26 bad idea, like startup launch products a year will be kind of what we look like. I know we said we're going to try to launch 21 this year, but most likely we're going to launch like 26 just because of like our cadence. And so, yeah, I guess we'll see. Maybe it will be 21, but yeah, I guess it's just for like the email list and trying to build like a more fun startup community where it's like, I think like serious ideas that like change the world and help the world are like awesome and probably better than what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is like super fun, and I think there's a place for that too.
Awesome. Shruti, if you want to ask your question next, or else I'll just read it. Okay. Shruti, could you please ask your question? Okay, maybe I'll just read it up. All right. Have you faced difficulties raising money after a previous product didn't take off? Have you raised money? And have you
No, I
faced
haven't raised
difficulties?
money.
All right. Okay, so I think people assume that you've already raised money after. So moving on, I
No.
guess you've not raised money.
No,
So
yeah, we're still a small fry right now. But I guess it's something we think about. I haven't done like any like fundraising tours or big pushes, but we're like, we really don't need capital. Like the only reason we get capital is to try to like increase our email subscribers. But the products we build are usually between $50 and $100. So every other Friday, which is manageable as far as expenses. And then we try to do free promotion. So it's like at the very most, and we have some like maintenance costs, but it's like very most, like we spend like a couple $100 a month. It's like, I don't know if raising a bunch of money is going to like help. I mean, we'll be able to build cooler products if we raise money, but yeah, it's not like we don't need to raise money.
all
We
right.
might, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Once you raise money, we'll get you back here to talk about that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I might have some trouble.
We'll see. I don't think so. I think you'll be able to raise money for sure. You have great following there. All right. Next up, Aryan wants to ask a question. Aryan, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hey, thank you for doing this. This is very insightful. I wanted to ask, how do you convert complicated ideas into a simpler solution to build your MVP? Or do you just discard the idea if it sounds too complicated?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because that's like half of what we do is like is that I like that the beginning idea section is like really important, because then the next like week we're building the product. So I think we think a lot about what the idea is going to be before we decide like, yes, this is going to go into our developing tab in Trello. And so we talk about like what that looks like. And so plenty of times we've got an idea that's like it needs custom code. So we need something that's that we can't build in no code, or we can build, but it's not going to look good enough, or it's just not going to be the right fit. And so we'll have the idea, and if the idea is good enough, I think we'll try to figure out a way to do it with our constraints. And so if it's like this really complex app that does all this stuff, like maybe we, at the very least, we can like build a landing page that like depicts that this is going to happen, and like kind of a wait list, and like it's like a joke wait list form. And so I think with anything, with any idea we have, we can create a bad unicorn product, or maybe we'll just do like one feature of that like complex product, and it's like we'll say like the rest is coming, even though it's kind of just a funny website for like a joke product. But yeah, I guess the answer is like we know our constraints, and so based on those constraints, we like can determine like how deep we can go with the given idea.
Got it. Waitlist is like a good idea to me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
All right. Saurav, you're next up. If you could unmute yourself.
Yes, sure. Thanks for doing this. So I'm listening to you for the first time. I did not know you actually. So so the thing is, I'm listening to you and your concept and your ideas, and I also ask few questions about, what was your emotional decision, or how do you feel about, after launching this much of products. So I think I just want your thoughts on this. Like, I have a hypothesis, probably, as probably someone also mentioned that you have no filters and you are just conversing here. So I feel that this concept of launching products and have fun, this aligns with your personality that you have. So do you have any thoughts over that this is something like people are asking or thinking that this is too serious, or this is like how do you do that in 2 weeks? But I think it is easier for you because that aligns with your personality, or something like you are just having this conversation. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's true. So I guess that kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like when I first started launching products, I was like, I want to be like the SaaS guy. I want to build like cool SaaS products because I know like SaaS makes a lot of money. Like those were my initial intentions. And eventually I kind of got to the point where I was like, no, like this isn't my like playbook. Like the playbook is like these like more fun, more joke products. And so I think that helps with, I think for me personally, the two things that I identified that like kept me back as far as startups were I didn't know how to build, and like basically the vulnerability of shipping products and kind of the fear of failure that comes with it. And so the ways I remedied those was I like did a bunch of research and time spent building stuff in Webflow and using a bunch of tools. And then the kind of ideas I built made it so that it didn't matter if people thought it was a stupid idea, because the idea is meant to be stupid. So like sometimes I'll post the ideas on Reddit and someone's like, why would you ever make this? This is such a dumb idea. And then I'll be like, I'll just drop like the Badunicorn.vc link and be like we build bad startup ideas. And so it's kind of been my way to like get past that like fear of failure, where it's like, this is like more like just more of a creative, fun thing to do. And if you don't like the idea, that's like fine. Like I'm building another one next week and next week and next week. So yeah, and sometimes that's not that helpful for other people to like for them to get past that vulnerability of like shipping a product. But I think it's like it's important for like anyone who's early in their maker journey to do, and I think that's why so many people give advice where it's like build products that like you like that like interest you, that are whether that's about video games or it's about a TV show, or if it's about like whatever your interest is. I think you should build those products in the early days, and then like you kind of build up that confidence to build something else. Like maybe that's, I guess, more like serious later. But I think for me, that's kind of how it worked, where like I built all these like joke products, and now I'm pretty good at building like small products. And so if I wanted to build something that's, I don't know, more serious next week, I think I could. And I'm 20 times better than I was like a year ago. Yeah. I think I just went on a random tangent, but that's the thoughts in my head.
All right. I think that pretty much. Saurav, I hope you got your answer to that.
Yes, thanks man for being so open and for be that way and inspire us like you are doing. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, man.
All right. Next question is from Kunal. I don't think Kunal's here, so I'll just read it out. If you had to relaunch, enhance, or upgrade any of your existing products, which one it will be and why?
Okay, so we said one, Coinbase.
Coinbase is one.
Yeah, but other than that, the second one that I would like to revamp, make better, was the one that was the meditation app. I think that one was it's just the concept is just funny. And we partnered with a voice actor named Edmund, who's incredible. And so just the fun of like writing scripts and like writing meditation scripts and like trying to insert humor or writing ridiculous concepts for meditation. Like we have one meditation that's like a meditation that helps you like go to sleep, and it's just Edmund reading 10 minutes of the Apple terms of service for the iPhone. And so it's just like really boring conversation. And so you just listen to it and hopefully fall asleep because it's dry. But yeah, I think there's just so many. We have a bunch of ideas that we're like, oh, we should have done this meditation. We should have done this motivational or like CrossFit meditation or whatever it is. I think that'd be one where we could build more inventory as far as our meditations, and we already have like an app that's functional, but it would mainly just be building out more content.
Okay, moving on to the next question he's asked. I think you've kind of touched base on this in terms of, do you validate your product idea with the target group? You've already said that if someone says it's a bad idea, you're anyway building it. But
yeah,
has there been a time where you kind of thought that, oh, I'm definitely building this, let me just see if people are interested? Do you validate anytime?
Yeah, I have a couple ways of validating. One is through like a mastermind. So I have this group called 0 to 1 Makers, and a week or two before we fully build out an idea, we'll just say, hey, well, first we give our update for like what we're doing, but then we'll be like, hey, we're thinking about this idea. Like, we'd love everyone's initial like gut feel. Like, does the one-liner sound funny? Like, does a dating app for crypto enthusiasts sound funny to you? Like off the jump? And yeah, so we validate kind of through there. And if people are like, no, I don't get it, like, what's funny about that? We'll kind of rethink it or change the idea a little bit. And then other than that, sometimes I'll like do more like vague tweets, where like I'll just like kind of ask a question about like, I don't know, like for example, like just a random thing I've noticed is like, and this is kind of everyone says this, where it's like, for me, I don't really use Facebook anymore, but I only use it to like check my friends' birthdays. And so I'll kind of like tweet that out and see like kind of what the response is. And if people have like a visceral response where it's like, hey, like same, like, and a bunch of people in like the tweet gets more engagement, it's kind of my way of validating like that. And I'm not asking like, hey, does this idea that I'm thinking of work? Like, it's not that kind of validation. It's like, just does this topic bring a bunch of emotion, positive or negative, that could be built into a product?
Awesome. How does one get into that group?
0 to 1. I think Edmund runs the like onboarding, but yeah, I can drop his @. I don't know his Twitter @, but Edmund.
We'll find him. We'll find him and share it across.
Yeah.
So people can ping him and ask if they get to access your products first. That'd be fun. He's asked about meme also. Now I'm also curious. Do you have a favorite meme template, or does it keep changing?
I don't know. A favorite meme template. I just love the one where I don't know the name of it, but when the dog's just like drinking his coffee and it's like, this is fine. I think I use that one a lot with like just our Badunicorn products. or it's like we have a deadline and it's like we have to ship this product in 48 hours and it's like nothing's going right. And it's just that.
I think that's been a favorite meme during the pandemic for almost everyone.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most used ones now. So we are still live streaming on YouTube, and there's one question from there. I'll just read that one out. Has anyone offered to fund your ideas for growth? I know you've not raised funding, but has that offer been made to you?
Yeah, we've had just like through kind of random conversations, we've had some people offer money. Yeah, and I guess the conversation's kind of like ended where it's like still trying to figure out like what we would do with it. Like I don't want to like take money that we don't have like plans to where to allocate it. So we've been pretty patient as far as raising funding, and if we can grow Badunicorn bootstraps for a while and then like raise later, like we're totally like fine and patient with that plan. And so yeah, I think it's just not always just about like grabbing the first money you see. It's about grabbing like the money that like is going to help you at the right time and the people that are going to help you for a long time, hopefully. And so yeah, there's been offers, but trying to feel out like what's the right timing for us to raise.
All right, we've actually come to the time, but if you're up for it, there are a couple of more questions. Your call. Okay. Joel.
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Hi,
Joel,
yes.
if you can go next and ask your question.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please go.
Hey, Whit, nice to meet you, and thanks to Creator Products for bringing you to my attention. I mean, Badunicorn seems like such a fun idea, such a fun project.
Thanks.
Yeah, so my question, actually, I had written a question in, but actually you sort of touched on it. So maybe a slightly different thing I'm wondering about is, I mean, I guess I'm wondering like how you see yourself and the Badunicorn. Do you see it as more of a player in an entertainment space or in a product space? Like, how do you guys think about that?
So I think about it like we're like a blend of product and media, where it's like we're building products every other week, and it's not products that are gonna like blow your socks off as like this technology is insane. It's just so I guess it's more like playing on like the storytelling aspect of product. And so that's kind of like our product side, where it's like just products that like hopefully, I don't know, bring a laugh or some sort of emotion, like maybe anger, maybe it's probably hopefully laughing. So I guess like that's kind of the product side. And then we want to grow more into like, I guess the media, where it's like, I don't know, like maybe it's like written content, maybe it's video, maybe it's like a mix of like paid and free content. So I guess it's like we want to play around and figure out where we fit. But I think Badunicorn ultimately will be this like blend of like still staying with our like shipping every other Friday, but along with that, creating like fun content that's either just funny and meant to be entertainment or educational. So like we've learned a bunch about no code, and we think that a lot of people like who want to build products can learn no code and get their like start with that, and maybe they eventually get a developer or learn how to code and build a more sophisticated product. But we think it's a good like gateway drug to startups and building things. And so so we do want to share like educational content, entertaining content, and then like funny products is basically where I see us going.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question.
All right. This is not a question, but I'm still going to read it out because this is nice. Rupan says that he likes how you genuinely take time to think about questions most thought leaders would have ready-made answers to. He likes that you have zero filters. And Rupan is here.
Hi, Whit. Yes.
Hey, Rupan.
Whit. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. This is easily one of the best sessions we've had on creators of product, and I genuinely like that. You know, you're so honest and you don't make things up. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Thanks.
All right. Sagar, if you want to ask your question.
Sure. Hi, Whit. I really like what you're doing at Bad Unicorn. And I have a question. What do you think about the future of product studios? You know, if anyone wants to make another Bad Unicorn, or there are many other studios, you know, what could one do to build another one?
Yes. So product studios are like one of my like guilty pleasure topics. Like I love like diving into like different product studios. Like there's so many more popping up, and what's cool about product studios is like you can format them however you want. Where like businesses are pretty straightforward, where it's like you do this product and service and like you try to grow that. And I think product studios are like there's a lot you can do as far as like how you set up the business. You can do a cadence. You can just say, hey, we're a product studio. Like a lot of people do, like some people say like they're a product studio, but they're probably more of like an agency. And so I think product studios are going to be more and more popular, especially with how easy it is to build and ship things. Yeah, I guess I'm just bullish on that. There are a bunch more popping up, and we built a product called productstudio.world, and is the domain. And so you can go to that, and that has a list of a bunch of product studios. So if you want to just learn about like what kind of ones are out there or how they're structured, like what kind of niches they build for, like some product studios only build products for the creator economy, and some products only build products for like fitness or something. And so I think there's something cool about that, where you get so many more at bats to building product, and yeah, I think the learning curve, if I was going to tell anyone like who wants to just like learn a bunch in like a year or a given period of time, it's like just start a product studio, even if you don't know what the answer is going to be, or even if you don't know how to build. It's like, I think starting a product studio is a great learning mechanism where, especially if you have like constraints, which we kind of talked about earlier, where you just like have to force yourself to learn these things and ship things. But yeah, I think product studios are going to be more and more popular. I think they're going to like yield some very valuable end products that probably grow into things. Like, I guess we haven't built anything that's like, oh, like we're just going to pursue this now, and Bad Unicorn's going to like fall into the back. But I'm sure that happens with a lot of product studios, where they build something and the product has ultimately become bigger than the studio will ever be. And so they kind of focus on that. And I think there'll be more outcomes like that, which will be cool.
Hope that answers your question, Sagar.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Imran, would you like to go up next and ask a question? Okay. I'll just read this one out. Why not stick to one or two products and keep improving instead of experimenting with trying 10 products? What made you build so many products rather than sticking to one?
I guess for Bad Unicorn's case, it's kind of just like about like more content. Like if we can't like keep entertaining someone with like the same 10 products by like making them better. And the goal isn't to make like super, I guess, valuable products is the word. So we're just like a weird use case where it's like just more funny products that have like a punchline are better, more jokes with a punchline rather than like refining a joke, where it's like, yeah, I think we're better off having like 20 like kind of funny jokes rather than like 2 really funny jokes or something. And so yeah, and that's just our use case. I'd say like you're trying to build a product that like is like a normal like a SaaS, the product that like you can grow and scale. Like maybe having 2 or even 1 is like better. It probably is better. So yeah, it kind of depends like just what your goal is for the product or yourself personally.
All right. I think this is the last question. We've already crossed 10 minutes. So Sumit, if you could quickly ask your question. Sumit. All right. I'll just read this one out as well. Okay, he is asking, as you said, you made your first 1-2 products as a joke, relating it to crypto, Dogecoin. Okay, he's just complimenting you. He doesn't have a question. My bad.
Okay.
All
I like
right.
compliments.
You love compliments. All right, I'll just read it out.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah, Aryan is also very happy. He's got lots of ideas now, and he thinks you're very cool. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of this session. Thank you so much for taking out time to speak with us and share everything that you've done so far. Thank you for taking out time on a weekend. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we're hoping that you'll build way more products and we'll see you more often. Thank you everyone for joining.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. It was nice to meet everyone, and I appreciate all the questions. And hopefully, hopefully see everyone on Twitter. Happy to engage and chat on Twitter or Twitter DMs.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for giving up your sleep, the precious sleep of the weekend. We'll let you get back to it.
No, this was awesome. I get more energy from like stuff like this. Like this is my favorite thing, to do. So thank y'all for giving me the opportunity to hop on.
Super fun to have you with us. Thank you.
Pleasure having you. All right.
Awesome.
Have a great weekend, everyone.